Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of this smoke room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to their Patreon, where it's $3 a month. So, on the last Let's Play, we had dinner with Murdoch's family. And, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't that easy either, because it's just, like the dad being like, well, you gotta take risks if you want to do well in life. And the mother being like, well, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Hiring Sam here was the first good thing you've done in months, kind of thing. It's just like, buddy. But, yeah, they're organizing for Holly's wedding and stag party, which I wonder how that's gonna go. What with, him liking men. I mean, he did come to the hip for wooing, but we'll have to come to that bridge when we cross it. So, as you set my face, and start. Suit yourself. I think I'm gonna sleep even harder tonight than I did before. Yeah, Murdoch's gonna stay at the house to do work. Scene change. That would have been a good scene change if I knew about it. My morning routine is getting easier and easier. I boiled water with a few orange slices just a little earlier to wash away the grime and seed from a messy bear the prior night. I dressed myself. I even managed to eat breakfast today. I make my way to the store on time too. My mind and body feel fresh and ready to put in a full day's work. Murdoch's manned the cash register this morning. Hey, look. I'm on time today. The fox stares forward, but it feels like he's staring past me. I figured you'd be proud of me. Huh? I'm making jokes, Murdoch. So you are. Sorry, but it's a bit difficult for me to focus on anything now. I made a list of things you might be able to do before we get pulled downtown for a fitting. He handed me a little piece of paper. I stared at the list. Water the roses, hose down the porch, order milk, stack the papers, eat breakfast? Since when does the store carry roses? Wrong list. He plucks that one out of my hands. As for Delilah, I told you, I'm tired. I know you're a fox, but there's no need to bark at me. Sorry. He hands me a different list. This one makes a lot more sense. It's a lot of stupid preferences for stacking things that don't make a lick of sense. For somebody learning about how to manage a store, they sure don't seem to let him manage much. But that's family business. I started doing what's written on the sheet, and I don't bother asking any questions. My first task is pretty terrible. I think I spent the last hour sorting through mason jars with slightly different labels of jam. And I spend the next 30 minutes making sure they're stacked, so you can see the labels from one of the front windows. That's important, apparently. The next thing is just moving a bunch of crates that arrived this morning out back into storage, sorting through the materials, and taking inventory. When I'm finished and walk out to the front, I'm starting to see Jim, Alfred, and Murdoch are waiting for me. There he is. Very good. Christ, is it 11 already? I guess when I really get in the groove of a routine, I lose track of time. Well, off you go. Jim's on a time crunch. I wouldn't worry too much, Mr. Briars. The Hendricks, knows this is important. Hendricks is... That's the, guy that owns, like, most of the town, right? The Ram? Ralph and I will watch the store. Aren't I always Mr. Brines? Well, don't watch too hard. Those beady eyes can make folks feel nervous. I was a bit, you know, confused because I was like, who's the other person? Oh, right, the rat guy. Alfred's smiling, like that's a good-natured joke, but gauging by Ralph's expression, he didn't take it that way. The three of us walk out the front door, making the bell on top of it jiggle behind us. You boys doing alright this morning? That's a surprisingly friendly greeting. He hasn't been able to entirely look me in the face for most of the time I've known him. So we're boys now, huh? Don't remember calling you much else. You used to call me Holly's brother. I'm a lot more comfortable with this now is all. Some birds are chirping real loud in the gutters of one of the houses up the street. I kind of wonder how that would be with regards to, furries, but since there's the crane reverend at, the settlement, but I guess it could be attuned to how humans see maybe not great apes, but maybe monkeys. And the both of you should relax if you're going to meet my friends and be part of the ceremony. I'm not going to tear into you both like his bitch of a mother did last night. I try not to snort. Murdoch looks like he's about to say something, then doesn't. The hell crawled up her ass anyways. She wouldn't even let you sit where you wanted. The woman's a shrew. All suffragettes are. I wouldn't think she's a suffragette, but okay. That's a knock on you. A what now? A radical movement that hates men. It do be like that with, times changing and all that stuff. I guess they would call them suffragettes back then. Well, I bet these people call women suffragettes back then. And now, Anyways, sounds like her. You don't know what you're talking about, Sam. Well, I said I didn't. I'd say he's chatting on pretty quickly. He's catching. Okay, I swear I can read. Though also sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna do more of these Let's Plays, and it's like, oh, I want to do them, but my capacity, not so much. He's catching on pretty quickly. Do you think Holly's a shrew too, then? Jim puts his hands in his pockets and rolls his eyes. Ever heard the expression, the exception, not the rule? I have. Well, she's an exception. And she already knows what I think. If you talk to her more, you'd know she's a pretty forward-thinking woman. I talk to her plenty. That's not what I hear, but I'm not trying to split your tail fur. Then just consider what you might not hear about everything Holly talks about, that you might not hear everything Holly talks about. You should learn to relax more, like your friend here. It's unfortunate that some people think I'm relaxed. Alright, Jim. Ooh, another new picture. Ooh, anyways. When we get to the more developed part of downtown, it gets harder to walk together. It's weird to think of Echo having a downtown, because in the more modern one, Echo, I thought it was like, oh, it's a smaller town than the one I used to live in, but it's like, yeah, the town is less than 100 people. It's like, that's not a town. That's a ghost town. Miss Briars was wrong about the crowd. It's busier than ever. So, how far is the tailor anyway? Jim gives me a skeptical look. You're saying you've never been to the tailor before? Not a fancy one, no. The folks I know mend their own clothes. They keep trying to teach me, but I don't have much patience for it. I expect Murdoch to chime in with something cheeky about me, handing me a sewing needle, but it doesn't say much at all. Also, it's like, sewing stuff is easy. I mean, making clothes, that's one thing. Just sewing stuff together, not too hard. At least for a quick patch-up. He's distant again, and unengaged with his surroundings. It's almost like he isn't here at all. There we are. Jim points ahead to a modern-looking store with full suit-on mannequins in the glass front. It's cool and cozy inside, but the air has the thick smell of shoe polish on it, to it. An impatient-looking rabbit at the corner sizes us up. Can I help you? You're looking on a couple of orders under sterling. The rabbit flips through the leather folio of index cards, plucks one out, and studies it. So we are. I need to order 2 more vests of the same material for both them. You're in luck then. There are plenty of that fabric. Splendid. Would it be possible to have these vests finished in a week? That would be sufficient if we have their measurements today. I trust the 2 of you can take from here. He turned to me and Murdoch. Just change the expressions to the charge the expenses to the sterling count. Very well, sir. I have to fetch something important from the pawn shop, so I'll leave you to this business. He's out the door before either I or Murdoch can protest. The rabbit shoves a few bundles of vest into each of our arms. Try a few of these sizes, and we'll get to specifics based on which fits best for any of you. I start to take off my shirt when the rabbit raises his voice. The changing room is to your left, sir. I feel the heat flush my ears, knowing I did something wrong somewhere fancy, and I look at Murdoch, expecting an eye roll or a nasty smirk. But there's nothing on his face. He's just staring at nothing. The rabbit directs us to the closet with high shelves, mirrors, and a faint plant in it. I cut my hands and whisper, "Is that shopkeep up his own ass or what?" Murdoch shifts through the vests. He doesn't respond. You think any of these are going to fit me? They're all a bit small. Still nothing. Okay. I sit down on the bench by the mirror and raise my voice to a growl. This is the first time we've had a moment's peace alone together since a god-awful dinner. You haven't acted the same since. Tell me what's wrong or don't, but you better stop putting me into awkward as hell positions. Murdoch looks at me and raises his voice to a growl too. You're getting him off, aren't you, Jim? I blink. Not sure what's making you bring that up. Because he told us, didn't he? You're having sex with him. My ears flatten to the back of my head. It's not like my clients tell me what their relationships are when they pay me for a night, Murdoch. So I was right then. Afraid so. He's fucking me too. Okay. That was interesting. I mean, I didn't see that's where that was going, but like, okay, so I'm not sure if he's having sex with your sister. Because, was it the early 90s or late 1900s? Early 1900s or late 1800s? Or mid, I don't know. And he's gay, but then it's like, he's having sex with you? That's a bit to put on. Woof. Anyways, Come again? I won't repeat it. God fucking damn it. At least I have an excuse that he's a client and was a stranger to me. Shit. That's your sister's fiancé, for fuck's sakes. I know. She does too. This was all her idea. I blink again. The fuck do you mean her idea? Jim's not so sure about settling down here. We've barely developed the phone lines. Without the mines and the train, we're nothing. You really want to see nothing? You should check out Peyton. I think that's the next town over that's an echo as well. Wait, am I actually defending this shitty city? That's a first for me. Sure, but it's nothing compared to Pueblo. Sure, but run this entire fucking prospect by me again? 'Cause I swear I must be having a stroke. She wants me to help make Jim like it better here. He told her swinging is big in the city. Told her that that's the kind of life that he wants. Wait, Jim told her? Huh. So she told him you can do that around here too. And she knows about the kinds of things I do for other men. Okay. So what the hell does that have to do with him putting his prick in you? Because there's a wedding happening, Sam. If I said no, there might not even have been. I think it's her wedding to worry about, not yours. I'll do what I have to get paid. But did you even want to do any of this? He's handsome, Sam. That's not what I asked. Since when do you need to know what I'm thinking? Since you started sharing more of it with me. Okay then. I think rolling around with Jim on occasion is a small concession to pay for my family security. The hell? My mom recently had talk with me. She told me that Holly is our family's future, in spite of the fact that I'm the only son. They need a respectable woman and a respectable man to inherit the house and take over when they're too old. I'm no expert in respectability, but paying money to get your cock sucked by a man can invite quite the scandal here. Which is why you have to keep that a secret. Because I clearly have the luxury to spill such a thing. I mean, from my parents. Just because they know about me doesn't mean they have to know about Jim, alright? So, what are you going to do about your own situation? Keep pretending that it's fine. Because maybe it will be. Which means that you're telling me it isn't. No, Sam. It's not fine. I'm tired all the goddamn time. Jim could up and leave at any moment if he's too bored. And if Holly's heartbroken, she might think that I wasn't trying hard enough. My parents seem like they're getting worse every day. They're subjected to whatever it is that does things to people here. And I know they think Seamus would have done better job than me if he had the same chance to grow up. I feel sick to my stomach when I look in the mirror. I don't always know who's looking back because there's nobody there to lie to or perform for. And when I'm working, or when I'm on something, or when I have a cock in my mouth or up the rear, I don't have to think about that. There's something in you now? He folded his hands on his lap, looking away. Then he nodded his head, shaking and squeezing out a few tears. Not a lot. Just enough to get me through the day. I don't need to know the details. I'm just trying to explain that the only time I get to feel like I'm really me is when my head is between a guy's legs. And I was hoping it was like that for you too. Okay. You shouldn't have assumed any of that, knowing the work that I do. I want to show you that there are ways to do that. Sorry. I want to show you that there's ways to do that here without caring about fucking money. But it always goes back to money for you. I need to know if that would be different if your financial situation changed for the better. But I'm sorry, I was wrong. To some extent, you weren't. But I understand why you're ashamed. You should be mad. Mad? If somebody told me their well-being was based on how good I sucked their boyfriend's cock, I would have used teeth. Murdoch snorted. The fuck is wrong with you? Guess you would probably call it being selfish, or some such Catholic crock of shit. But then again, it's the kind of thing that reminds me I'd never be in any kind of situation like the one you're in right now. Your family's fucking atrocious. They didn't used to be. You weren't around when they used to be good to me. I used to think my mother was the smartest woman in the world. She used to read to me, and my dad used to build all sorts of things with me. Waterproof boats and tree forts with windows. So, did they change? Or did you just grow up? I don't know, Sam. These are just my memories, and I miss them. What else do I have? What else do you want? He looked at me. He's trembling, and the muscles in his face strain. Then, he shut his eyelids, squeezing them tight. I want to be told that I'm doing a good job. You're doing a good job. He laughs at that. Yappy, shrieking gulps, which turn into loud sobs. Tears are pouring out of his eyes as he's bent over the vest, holding it with strained claws, like he's going to tear it if he adds any more pressure. His mouth opens in a silent scream. Then he stops, very suddenly. He cleans his face, then with the back of his sleeve. And... sorry, sometimes I get emotional. And he looks at me, red-eyed but calm. I'm sorry you had to see that. What? No. It's just emotions. Those are just ordinary. What's not is when you just... What? When you just act as if you suddenly don't have them. Like you're shutting them off and start to act completely different. Within seconds. Murdoch frowns. You've never had to do that? No, not really. No. Especially not for ordinary things. Like being sad. I see. I want something else then. Like what? A kiss. For free. A dream of you waking up in my bed every day. A memory of you holding me so tight. For no other reason than you want me. Common fancy for a sad man to have about a prostitute, is it not? I'm not sure what to say, because that's the truth. Yeah. It's ugly and shameful to want what you can't have, isn't it? No. Well, the whole point of a dream is to want what we don't have, isn't it? I said can't have, not don't have. I know what you said. I just don't agree. About what? Maybe I can get to know you. Know what it feels like, knows that it feels like your family finally letting me, sorry. I'm scared. Scared of what? Of sometimes wanting to die. And there being nothing to know. Not even a worthwhile memory to put in a shoebox after I'm gone. I think there's clearly something. Otherwise, you wouldn't want me. You really do want me, don't you? I do. So, see, there's something. The fox stares at me. He stares at me just like how he stares at the mirrors in this room. And he looks absolutely miserable. Sam? Yeah? If I thought I knew you did something bad, and I was ever scared of you, would you be able to tell me the truth about it? What? What is he talking about? I don't know. I think I understand. I don't think it matters to me. You don't think what matters to you? What could it possibly be? I think I have a guess. Say what you mean. I heard the sheriff talking about in his office after the shoot. With his friend. The big badger? He said you're walking around with a head injury. He looks behind his shoulder. About a month ago, coming from the mines. So, that's why I haven't seen Nikolai around the hip yet? I guess I wouldn't either. So, what? And you talk about it as if you've been there. Talk about it. I used to work there. Recently. And just about how many people heard about them talking about that, you think? He sighs and shakes his head. I don't know. I don't think it was more than the three of us. Though I wasn't exactly supposed to be listening. His deputy might know as well. But I can't be sure. So, what will you do now? Whatever you need me to, I suppose. I stare at him for a while. I laugh. Whatever I need. You, and the sheriff, and the man who I thought was my best friend are burning the midnight oil to rush me to the gallows, and you're gonna ask me what I need? That's a confession, Sam? No. I feel my throat tighten. Maybe. His expression is impossible to read now. You're saying all sorts of crazy things. Making me confused. I'm not admitting to anything. But let's say, what if that was a confession? What then? He swallows a spit. Well, then I think you did it. And then what? What next? The fox shrugged. Nothing. Why nothing? Why whatever I need? That don't make no any damn sense. Because a noose is justice. What? He wrings his paws and curls his lips. I've seen plenty of murderers walk free with the right excuse. or just by having to know the right people. So, I meant what I said. A noose isn't justice. It's just a long tether to a dark, heavy weight. A weight that all people have. A weight we all want to cut loose and soar away from. Higher. Free. Leaving all the ugliness of the earth behind us on the floor in a heap for the ants to find. Except, we never leave it behind, Sam. We just take it with us. Nobody can shake off the bugs eating them up every time a platform falls. I shake my head. Maybe, sometimes people just want relief. They just want relief from... I stutter over my own words. Relief from the fear that took their lives from them. Now, that's not so crazy, is it? When that's the case, maybe not. But how many people are calling for an execution knew that minor, though? Nick always did tell me he wasn't well liked. I don't know. I do. It's not fear in the air I could smell. It's excitement. Excitement to drop that platform and hear that twang. Sort of like a building tension. Like a package bursting at the seams. And so what? Where are you going with this? Where am I going with this? I want to help you. Help me? I laugh. Help me? And the how is the first question. What exactly can you do? You trapped as much as me. The why is the second question. Why do you want to help me? What's really in it for you? He let out a squeaky whine. Is it because I'm easy to look at? Yes. Is it because I make you feel good? Yes. But you don't know me. And I never will if you're dead. I stopped to catch my breath. Since the first time I found out about you, I was a bit jealous. Jealous? Of me? Are you stupid? Well, maybe. I thought you had a life I wanted. The nightlife. The glamorous parties. Using your own body to give and get pleasure. People paying money to love you when I couldn't even get that for free had my head spinning. So yeah, for a few years I wanted to be you. Getting by on whatever intimacy I could find at bars and dances. I shake my head. Well, I'm sorry that you had it wrong, but listen. It should be fine. I need to forget everything you think you know. You know full well that this one remembers all sorts of things, and never share it. And you know he talks too much. Okay, we'll sell you out for the smallest scrap of love. I promise I'll never bring this up again. All they have to do is spread their legs, because that's all everybody needs to buy his soul. So give him the greatest love he'll ever know. Give him the love that will close his eyes forever. Good. He'll probably do it for you himself if you ask him to. Shut the hell up! Murdoch recoiled away from me. His eyes were wide and red. He looked a lot like his little brother right now. The one from the photograph in his house. A small, scared thing. I said I promise I won't say nothing. Wasn't you. Was that voice again. That's a crazy thing to tell somebody, but somehow he looked relieved. Is there something the matter back there? Right as rain. A son of a bitch was just poking fun of how stupid I look in formal wear. Ain't that right? There's too much of a brute to cover. I know he's trying to sound cheeky, but the delivery of the statement is flat. Do not hesitate to call for assistance. The voice sounds tense. He doesn't want us back here much longer. Murdoch picks up on that too. Why don't we do what he came here to do? And get dressed for the parts we're meant to play. He buttons each button and buckles each clasp as he stares at the mirror, catching out the corners of his eye, watching out the corners of his eye, looking attentively. Then he spins around. How do we look? You look like a dapper guy. I mean, it kind of looks silly because, I don't know, I feel like that fashion hasn't aged too well, but, I mean, at the time, smart. Like, I can't see what I feel like is wrong with this, but, you know, it does definitely look aged. Just fine, or just fine? Just fine. I think you look just fine. Thank you. If there's one thing I've been told to do, told I always do well, it's clean up nicely. They weren't lying. You look good too. You always think I look good. You've pinned me again. Well, and not pegged you? Do me like that. Only twice. Haha, got him. I might use that clip. I don't know. I'll think about it. But factually speaking, you're keeping count. I just mean that it's easy. He hums. Then maybe I should make it harder. He chuckles. But seriously, in the short time I've known you, I've only dragged you into tedious obligations and miserable revelations. So let me show you something a little fun I learned about recently. I'm listening. You know that weightless feeling that people get when they drift into deep water? No. Are you mean just like regular water, or you mean like deep sea? Because I don't want that. Yeah. My younger sister tells me being in space is supposed to be a lot like that. Except it's everywhere, all the time. Unless you're like, well, I guess geostationary orbit is weightless too, but yeah, whatever. You're moving, but you're not. All the time? And you don't even have to get wet. It's like you're swimming in nothing, and it's impossible to feel heavy. You can do a backflip without trying. Or you could jump into the air without even falling back down. That's impossible. I know it sounds impossible, but I promise it's all true. Though, is she an avant-garde in her regard of science? Or what? I mean, maybe people had a bit more scientific knowledge in the, early 1900s than I give them credit for? I guess I'll just have to go to space to find out for myself. I guess so. Do you think that'll ever be possible? I don't know. I sometimes hear we're getting pretty close. They got these really big cannons, and they think they'll shoot it into the moon. You know? But if it were possible, would you be brave enough to go? Sure. Even if that meant the chance of burning to a crisp in Earth's atmosphere? Did they know about that? I mean, I guess they knew about meteorites burning up and stuff. I'd go pretty much anywhere if it meant getting away from here. What about you? Well, I think I told you once, before I used to travel to a lot of places when I was little. But nobody's ever asked me that as an adult. Not even your roommate? No. He keeps bragging about all the places he'd go and the people he'll see when he saves up enough money to leave. But he has family all over the place. Mine is here. But what if you could go to outer space? Well, what if I could? Would you go? I'm afraid that I would find it a very lonely place. Despite what my favorite books and picture shows might suggest, there's probably not much to find there. It's likely just a long, winding landscape of endless rock and dust, with nobody there to talk to. Sounds like here. At least there's music here. But you could fly there. I'd probably give up my ability to walk if I had to choose between that and the people to talk to. I can't relate. I'm starting to wish you could. Do you really mean that? Well, yeah, my legs are too handy. Is that so? Sure is. Because you don't have to walk if I'm the one pinning you. He gives me an absurd expression and breaks out into laughter. The example was extreme. That's fair. Can I offer any assistance? We both jump and the attendants shout over the other side of the curtained wall. Almost finished. The fits are nearly perfect. Murdoch lowered his voice. Considering I've bought clothes here my entire life, I hope they know my size by now. Does the size fit me? Mostly. The pants could use a bit of hemming. Well, I don't want to stay here much longer. A friend could hem these for me. The people here will do it if you ask. Nah, I don't care too much for the move of this place. Why don't you get the changes you need, and I'll go get Jim, if you must. And I think with that, and us being in 12 minutes overtime, I think we'll call it. Yeah, I guess I don't say this too often, but yeah, that was shedding a couple of tears during that video. It do be like that sometimes. I mean, luckily I don't have to, like, pour myself out for my family. They're pretty nice people. Sometimes a bit broken. Especially some more than others, I guess. But yeah. That's gonna be the end of this Let's Play. So comment, guys, comment, so much you like, dislike. Tips, tricks, otherwise, if you like my YouTube and likes to grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the rest of Epic Grown. Please remember spending your ammo step, control the pit population. And if you want to play this game, sorry I'm a bit just like, oh, that was a lot. If you'd like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check it. I mean, if you want to play it, itch.io for free, Patreon $3 a month for the most updated version. And until next time, let's play. Me, GamerWolfSix. Quite a heavy episode. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of things where there's a background to all these episodes, like Williams is, hey, he left his family behind because, you know, he found out he was gay, and also there was, like, witness protection, maybe, or he pissed off the wrong people in the police, or, well, I guess in the police, but also, like, crime, and Cliff's thing where his father doesn't think he's too much, but doesn't seem to really get too much into that, just how much he liked his grandma or something like that, but then Murdoch being like, hey, I'm happy-go-lucky, but then also, fuck me, I'm just, yeah, it do be like that. I just have to see how Nick's is. Though it does explain how this whole thing about Nick. I wonder how that's gonna go. Like, as far as I remember, I only have one choice since I've picked Murdoch. And it's been, is he just fine or just fine? I mean, I'm going to just click this over here, just so it doesn't spoil you guys, and hopefully, you know, it probably wouldn't spoil me too much, but, I'm just gonna go with this thing. Does it really? I don't think we've gone to chapter 3 yet, but I click on Murdoch's chapter 3 and it goes... Like... Let me just put it back on. Murdoch, chapter 3. We're immediately there. So let me just click just to be sure that you guys don't get spoiled. Nope, we haven't gotten to that part yet. Anyways, until next time, me, GamerWolfSix, of the Smoke Room. Boop. From all the way back in the beginning, yeah, thanks and see ya.